Hey, it's Mr. Shrum, and I am going to talk about blood composition today. So in this lesson, we're going to focus on the three main components of your blood: plasma, red blood cells, and white blood cells. Plasma is the yellowish fluid portion of blood, and it transports cells and other materials to the body. Plasma is composed of water, about 90 to 92%, plasma proteins, 7 to 8%, salt, and then smaller amounts of other materials. And here's the breakdown of your blood. About 55% of it is plasma. White blood cells and platelets are a little less than 1%, and then red blood cells are 45%. Three of the plasma proteins are albumin, fibrinogen, and globulins. Fibrinogen. Albumin is produced in the liver, and its main function is to maintain the osmotic balance between the blood and the tissue fluids. So it's trying to maintain this balance between what is outside and what is inside the blood and the tissues around it. It also aids in carrying other material within the blood. So think of it as a balancing carrier. Fibrinogen is a clotting protein used during coagulation. And coagulation is the process of using clots to repair holes in blood vessels in order to prevent blood loss. And you can see how that happens here. Globulins are a broad classification of a type of plasma protein. An example of a specific type of globulin is an immunoglobulin. Igs are also known as antibodies. And these are Y-shaped proteins that protect against foreign invaders. They are produced by lymphocytes. You can see the Y shape here. Salt that is in the plasma is absorbed by the kidneys, and it has several roles. It aids in metabolism, it maintains the pH levels of your blood, and it stabilizes an osmotic balance between blood and tissues. Other materials are present in plasma, but in smaller amounts, and those include respiratory gases such as oxygen and carbon dioxide, or CO2, nutrients like glucose and fats, waste products like urea and ammonia, hormones, and vitamins. Red blood cells are also known as erythrocytes, or RBCs, red blood cells, and they are small biconcave discs. Biconcave means if you look at this shape, they kind of curve inward on both sides. They are produced in bone marrow within the skull, ribs, spine, pelvis, and the ends of long bones. As red blood cells are formed, they have a nucleus, but as they mature, that nucleus disappears. Red blood cells contain hemoglobin, and hemoglobin is a reddish protein that aids plasma in transporting oxygen to the tissues within the body. And an important element contained within hemoglobin is iron. The production of red blood cells is regulated by the release of the hormone erythropoietin from the kidneys. Red blood cells live for about 120 days, and then they are destroyed by cells in the liver or the spleen.
Erythropoietin from the kidneys. Red blood cells live for about 100.
Erythropoietin. Very interesting word. So they live about 120 days, about 4 months, and then they are destroyed by cells in the liver or the spleen. And when these red blood cells are broken down, the hemoglobin within is released. The heme portion of hemoglobin is chemically degraded to bilirubin. And that is then excreted by the liver into the intestine as bile. So see the similar spelling. Bile is a digestive juice that helps break down fats. The iron within hemoglobin is recovered and returned to bone marrow to be used again. White blood cells are also known as leukocytes or white blood cells, WBCs. WBCs are also produced in bone marrow, but continue to divide in the blood and lymphatic system. White blood cells help to fight off infections. Lymphocytes, WBCs, differ from red blood cells in that white blood cells are usually larger in size. They have a nucleus. They do not have hemoglobin. They look white. They may be present in both blood and lymph fluid. Most live only a few days, but some live for months or years. There are 5 types of white blood cells: neutrophils, basophils, monocytes, lymphocytes, and let's hear the correct.
Eosinophils 3.
Oh.
Basophils 4.
Here, let's do that.
4 monocytes 5.
Oh.
Lymphocytes. 1 neutrophils 2. Neutrals 2. Eosinophils 3.
Eosinophils.
4.
Yeah. Neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, monocytes, and lymphocytes. You can see those here. Neutrophils are the main phagocytic cell of the blood. Phagocytosis is the process of white blood cells ingesting and destroying foreign cells. Eosinophils function to fight off parasites or other antigens by releasing a toxin rather than phagocytosis. Increased amounts of eosinophils in the blood is associated with individuals who have allergic reactions. Basophils aid the inflammatory response that occurs when the tissues within the body have been damaged. Monocytes are the largest white blood cells in size. Monocytes perform phagocytosis within the blood. They also leave the blood to perform phagocytosis in other areas of the body. When monocytes are outside the blood, they are referred to as macrophages. Monocytes are long-living phagocytic cells and have several important functions, such as they use phagocytosis to destroy foreign particles in the body, such as bacteria. They also use phagocytosis to clear out dead neutrophils or dead cells within the body. They aid in the inflammatory response by cleaning up afterwards. Monocytes work with lymphocytes as antigen-presenting cells. Lymphocytes provide the last line of defense for the immune system. They enable long-term resistance to infections that have been present in the body before. There are 2 types of lymphocytes: B-cell lymphocytes and T-cell lymphocytes. B cell lymphocytes are produced in the bone marrow. They produce antibodies, also known as immunoglobulins. Antibodies are Y-shaped proteins, like we talked about before, that protect against foreign invaders. And you can see a B cell producing Y-shaped antibodies. T cell lymphocytes are produced in the bone marrow and then migrate to the thymus. Within the thymus, immature T cell lymphocytes mature. And then the mature T cells destroy foreign invaders directly. So in conclusion, plasma, red blood cells, and white blood cells have very important roles. Plasma is the fluid portion of blood that helps to transport the other components of blood, nutrients, and waste products to the body. Red blood cells contain hemoglobin, which helps deliver oxygen to the cells of the body. White blood cells help to fight off infections. And that's the end of blood composition. So that's what makes up your actual blood. If you have any more questions about this topic, email me or send me a message in Canvas. That's okay too. But you know how to reach me. And until next time, have a great day/week, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.